Ladies and gentlemen, listen up, because if you're here right now, staring at your screen, feeling that itch in your soul that something's got to change, then buckle the hell up. I'm Andrew Tate, and today we're fixing your mind in just 7 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. 7 minutes to shatter the chains of weakness, doubt, and mediocrity that have been holding you back like a coward's excuse. Forget the therapy sessions, the endless scrolling through self-help garbage. I'm talking real transformation, the kind that turns boys into men and dreamers into empires. Hook number 1, imagine waking up tomorrow with a mind like steel, unbreakable laser focused on victory. That's not a fantasy. That's what we're building right now. So sit straight, eyes forward, and let's dive in. First off, understand this: your mind is the battlefield where winners are forged and losers are buried. You've been poisoned by the matrix, social media lies, fake friends whispering you'll never make it, and that voice in your head saying you're not good enough. Bullshit. In these 7 minutes, we're evicting that noise. Step 1, own your thoughts like a king owns his throne. Right now, repeat after me in your head. I am the architect of my destiny. Say it loud if you're alone. Feel that power surging. That's your first hook, the realization that no one else controls your reality. I've built empires from nothing, escaped the traps they set for me, because I fixed my mind early. You're next. Stop blaming your past, your boss, or the economy. Those are chains for slaves. Snap them. Now let's crank it up. Step 2, visualize victory like it's already yours. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. See yourself crushing goals, that promotion, the ripped physique, the bank account overflowing. Not vague dreams, but vivid, bloody details. The sweat on your brow during that late night grind. The handshake sealing your deal. The respect in people's eyes when you walk in. Hook 2. Doubt creeps in when your vision fades, so paint it so bright it burns away the darkness. I didn't become a world champion by hoping. I saw the belt around my waist before the fight even started. In these minutes ticking away, etch that image into your skull. 7 minutes isn't magic, it's momentum. You're not waiting for permission, you're seizing it. Step 3, and this one's a gut punch: eliminate the distractions that dilute your dominance. That phone buzzing with notifications. Silence it. Those energy vampires sucking your time with drama. Cut them out like dead weight. Your mind thrives on focus, not fragmentation. Hook 3, freedom isn't given, it's carved from discipline. I've lived in Bugattis while others scrolled TikTok. Why? Because I fixed my mind to prioritize power over pleasure. Right now, list 3 distractions in your head and vow to destroy them today. Feel that rush. That's adrenaline for action. You're not average. Average is for the weak. In 7 minutes, you've already leveled up. Now run with it. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, wind whipping your face, the abyss below whispering lies of failure and defeat. That's your mind right now, teetering on the brink, controlled by shadows of doubt and the relentless drone of external chaos. But here's your first hook. What if, in this very moment, you step back from that edge and claim the throne? Owning your thoughts like a king isn't some fluffy affirmation. It's a declaration of war against the invisible forces that have puppeteered your life for far too long. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the sovereign ruler of your inner empire, and it's time to evict the squatters. The nagging voices of insecurity, the societal scripts dictating your worth, the endless barrage of distractions designed to keep you small. Think about it professionally. In the boardrooms of success, the titans who build legacies don't react to the storm, they command it. Andrew Tate didn't rise from the underbelly of kickboxing rings and entrepreneurial battles by letting critics or setbacks dictate his narrative. He seized control, filtering every thought through the lens of unyielding purpose. So right now, pause whatever you're doing, breathe deep, and declare it aloud if you can. I am the architect of my destiny. No one else holds the blueprint. Feel that shift. That's the hook of sovereignty pulling you upward. The electric surge when you realize your mind is your most potent asset, sharper than any sword, more valuable than any fortune. Evicting weakness starts with ruthless inventory. Scan your mental landscape, who or what has been squatting there rent-free. The friend who downplays your ambitions with realistic advice. The social media feed flooding you with curated illusions of others' highlight reels. The self-sabotaging loop replaying past mistakes like a broken record. These are not harmless guests. They're invaders diluting your potential, turning a potential emperor into a beggar on his own throne. Professionally speaking, high performers in any field, whether closing multi-million-dollar deals or dominating the octagon, treat their mindset like a fortified castle. They audit it daily, bolting the gates against negativity and installing guards of conviction. Your second hook: the moment you identify these intruders and show them the door, space opens for clarity, strategy, and unstoppable drive. I've seen it in my own life, transforming from a fighter scraping by to a global force because I stopped tolerating mental clutter. You can too, starting with a simple audit. List 3 doubts haunting you today, then cross them out with the ink of resolve. Now, layer in unshakable conviction, the mortar that binds your kingdom solid. Conviction isn't blind optimism, it's the professional's edge, forged in evidence and action. Recall your wins, however small, the deal you nailed, the workout you crushed, the moment you stood tall against adversity. These are your crown jewels, proof that you possess the royal bloodline of resilience. Hook 3: doubt thrives in the dark, but conviction is the floodlight exposing its fragility. When external noise amps up, the economy tanking, skeptics scoffing, life-throwing curveballs, lean into that inner court. Affirm it repeatedly, not as rote repetition, but as a battle cry: my thoughts serve me, I do not serve them. This turns slaves into sovereigns because it rewires your neural pathways from reactive to regal. In elite circles, from CEOs to champions, this ownership manifests as decisions that propel empires forward, unswayed by the tide. Finally, integrate this ownership into your daily rhythm with disciplined precision. Wake up and crown yourself first thing, journal your intentions, visualize the throne room of your goals, silence the noise before it rises. Professionally, it's like upgrading your operating system: smoother, faster, error-free. Hook 4: the man who masters his mind doesn't chase validation, he commands respect. You're not just fixing thoughts, you're architecting a legacy where weakness has no visa. Step into that power today. Your empire awaits, and the crown fits perfectly. Picture this: you're not just dreaming of success, you're living it, the roar of the crowd echoing in your ears, the weight of that championship belt heavy on your shoulder, the ink drying on the contract that catapults your net worth into the stratosphere. That's the raw power of visualization. And here's your first hook: when you paint victory in such vivid detail that it hijacks your senses, your mind doesn't just hope, it commands reality to bend. In the high-stakes arena of professional achievement, where deals are won in split seconds and empires rise on the edge of a decision, vague aspirations are for amateurs. True dominators, the ones who shatter ceilings and rewrite rules, treat visualization as a non-negotiable weapon in their arsenal. Andrew Tate didn't stumble into 4 Bugattis and a life of unapologetic luxury by wishing. He etched those victories onto the canvas of his consciousness daily, making the intangible so tangible it became inevitable. Professionally speaking, visualization isn't some woo-woo ritual. It's a neuroscience-backed strategy employed by elite performers across boardrooms and battlefields. Your brain can't distinguish between a powerfully imagined event and a real one. It fires the same neural pathways, building muscle memory for triumph before the first step is taken. So right now, lean in, close your eyes for a full minute, and construct your masterpiece. See the sweat beading on your forehead as you grind through that pivotal presentation. Hear the client's decisive yes, cracking the air like thunder. Feel the surge of adrenaline when your business metrics skyrocket on the dashboard. Don't skim the surface. Dive into the grit. The late nights blurring into breakthroughs, the handshakes sealing alliances with power players, the quiet satisfaction of watching competitors fade in your rearview. Hook 2. This isn't escapism. It's engineering your mind pre-wiring success so obstacles dissolve like mist under a blazing sun. I've wired my own visualizations to fuel comebacks that left the world stunned, turning perceived defeats into launch pads for dominance. You hold that same code, activate it. Layer in sensory depth to make it unbreakable. Engage every sense, taste the victory champagne after closing that multi-million-dollar venture. Smell the leather of the luxury car you earned through sheer will. Touch the texture of the award etched with your name. In professional circles, from Wall Street wolves to world-class athletes, this multisensory approach isn't optional. It's the differentiator that separates the 1% from the herd. Why? Because a mind fixed on triumph anticipates every pivot, every counterpunch, rendering surprises powerless. Hook 3. Doubt and fear thrive on ambiguity, but vivid visualization is the spotlight that exposes and eradicates them. forging a path where hesitation has no foothold. Recall a time you nailed something big, amplify that replay, but supercharge it with future conquests. The promotion that catapults you to executive heights, the physique sculpted to intimidate, the legacy that echoes through generations. This practice isn't passive, it's active warfare against mediocrity, reprogramming your subconscious to seek out opportunities like a predator scents blood. Now, integrate it with disciplined repetition for professional grade results. Schedule it like a board meeting, 5 minutes morning and night, no excuses. Track your progress in a journal. Note how these mental rehearsals sharpen your intuition during real-world hustles. Hook 4, the man who visualizes with ferocity doesn't chase wins. Winds chase him because his energy aligns the universe to deliver. I visualize escapes from traps that would break lesser men, emerging not just intact but elevated. Your turn. Envision the empire you're building, brick by vivid brick, until the blueprint bleeds into action. Feel the momentum building. That's your mind shifting gears from survival to conquest, detail by electrifying detail. Envision a warrior in the heat of battle, blade flashing under the sun, every swing precise, because nothing, not a whisper of wind, not a fleeting shadow, distracts from the kill. That's you right now, if you dare to wield the same ferocity against the invisible enemies besieging your mind. Here's your first hook. Distractions aren't innocent interruptions. They're assassins sent to sabotage your empire before it rises. And eliminating them ruthlessly isn't optional. It's the forge where average men melt into legends. In the professional arena, where fortunes are made in focused bursts and careers crumble under scattered attention, true power brokers treat distractions like liabilities on a balance sheet, identify, isolate, and incinerate. Andrew Tate didn't amass a fleet of supercars and a network of influence by tolerating the buzz of a phone or the drain of disloyal circles. He cut them clean, channeling every ounce of energy into the blade that carves dominance. Professionally, this elimination demands a surgical audit of your daily battlefield. Start with the obvious culprits. That smartphone, a Trojan horse disguised as convenience, pinging with notifications that fracture your flow like cracks in a dam. Silence it. Don't mute. Eradicate the habit. Set it to airplane mode during peak creation hours, or better yet, banish it to another room while you conquer your tasks. Studies from elite performers in finance and tech echo this. Multitasking isn't efficiency, it's erosion, reducing productivity by up to 40% as your brain toggles between shallow dips instead of deep dives. Hook 2. The moment you sever that digital leash, a floodgate opens. Clarity rushes in, turning hours of fragmented effort into symphonies of output. I've felt it personally. In the grind of building businesses from scratch, ditching the endless scroll freed my mind to strategize moves that outmaneuvered giants, leaving me light years ahead while others drowned in dopamine hits. Next, target the human distractions. The fake friends, the energy vampires who masquerade as allies but leech your momentum with gossip, envy, or half-hearted support. These aren't companions, they're anchors dragging your ship into mediocrity's depths. Ruthlessly curate your circle, audit relationships like a CEO reviews his board. Who amplifies your ambition? Who injects doubt? Cut the latter without remorse. Block numbers, fade from conversations, redirect your time to mentors and collaborators who mirror your hunger. In high-stakes professions, from Silicon Valley innovators to championship athletes, this selectivity is sacred. It's why entourages of the elite are small, sharp, and synergistic. Hook 3, pruning these toxic ties isn't loss, it's liberation. The sharp inhale before a sprint that propels you past plyos others never escape. Tate's own circle, handpicked warriors who fuel the fire, not flicker it out. Emulate that and watch your network transform from a net into a launch pad. Don't overlook the subtler time. Wasters the endless meetings that meander. The perfectionism that stalls progress. The comfort zones masquerading as rest. Treat them like a warrior sharpens his blade. Methodical, deliberate, honing only what serves the strike. Implement barriers time. Block your calendar with Fortress, like precision, using tools like the Pomodoro technique, but upgraded for pros. 25 minutes of undiluted focus, followed by a 5-minute reset, no bleed over. Hook 4 laser focus isn't a gift, it's a discipline you demand, and when you master it, energy multiplies exponentially, turning a day's drudgery into a cascade of breakthroughs. I've eliminated the noise of naysayers and notifications to plot courses that defied odds, emerging with assets that speak louder than words. Your energy, once scattered like shrapnel, now converges into a spear. Aim it true, and no obstacle withstands the thrust. Stand tall for a moment and feel the weight of your existence, not as a burden, but as a blazing forge where lesser souls would shatter. You're not some delicate glass ornament waiting to crack under pressure. You're hammered steel, tempered in the relentless fires of life's unyielding trials. Here's your first hook. Affirming your unbreakable core isn't a whisper in the mirror. It's a thunderous roar that echoes through your veins, transforming every scar into a scepter of supremacy. In the professional world of cutthroat competition, where executives climb corporate ladders, slick with betrayal, and entrepreneurs weather storms that sink ships, fragility is fatal. Andrew Tate didn't emerge from the crucible of controversy, legal battles, and public scrutiny as a victim. He affirmed his core as impervious, turning attacks into ammunition that fueled his ascent to icon status. You possess that same alchemy. Start by declaring it now. I am forged in fire, unbreakable and unchained. Professionally, this affirmation demands more than words. It's a daily ritual of reinforcement, etched into your routine like a cornerstone in a skyscraper's foundation. Begin each morning with a verbal vow. Eyes locked on your reflection. Every failure is fuel, igniting my rise. Every battle a badge, adorning my armor. This isn't motivational fluff. It's psychological engineering, rewiring your brain's default from defeat to dominance. Neuroscientists back it positive. Repeated affirmations strengthen neural connections, making resilience your automatic response rather than a rare feat. Hook 2, the instant you internalize this, doubt loses its grip, slithering away like smoke from a bonfire, leaving you clear, headed and charged for the conquests ahead. I've lived it, staring down prison bars and media maelstroms, affirming my core until adversity bowed, propelling me to build empires that mock the weak. Your battles, whether boardroom negotiations gone south or personal setbacks that sting, aren't endings. They're endorsements of your endurance, badges that gleam brighter with each polish. Delve deeper into the fuel of failure, that bitter elixir most spit out, but you swallow it whole and let it burn brighter. Every rejection email, every missed deadline, every dream deferred is not a verdict on your worth. It's premium grade octane for your engine. In elite professional spheres, from Fortune 500 leaders to Olympic gold medalists, failure is dissected, not discarded, analyzed for lessons, then leveraged as leverage. Hook 3, when you affirm failure as fuel, it flips the script from victimhood to vanguard, where each stumble accelerates your stride, outpacing those who pause to pity themselves. Picture a phoenix not rising once, but repeatedly, each ash cycle forging hotter flames. Tate's path, riddled with losses that lesser men would lament, but he affirmed them as badges, wearing them like medals en route to multi-million-dollar victories. Audit your own arsenal, recall a recent flop, then reframe it aloud. This fuels my fire. This badges my unbreakable self. Feel the shift. That's conviction crystallizing, turning potential pitfalls into power plays. Extend this to battles beyond the personal, the external wars of skepticism, systemic barriers, and opportunistic foes. Affirm without apology. I dominate not despite the fray, but because of it. This unyielding stance isn't arrogance, it's the professional's poise, the quiet certainty that radiates authority in meetings, negotiations, and networks. Hook 4, your core, once affirmed as unbreakable, becomes a magnet for opportunities, drawing allies who sense the steel and repelling chaos that craves cracks. In my world, battles with the establishment only amplified my voice, badges of defiance that opened doors to global influence. Yours await the same. Affirm through action. Push through discomfort, celebrate the grind, and watch how this inner fortress elevates every interaction. The fire that forges you doesn't consume, it illuminates, guiding you to pinnacles where fragility fears to tread. Feel the cold steel of a weapon in your grip, not a gun or a sword, but discipline, the ultimate equalizer in a world rigged for the undisciplined to fail. Here's your first hook. Embracing discipline as your weapon means swapping the siren call of instant gratification for the thunderous rhythm of relentless grind, where every sacrificed comfort carves a deeper path to the throne reserved for the elite. In the professional coliseum of ambition, where startups soar or sink on the founder's resolve and executives outlast rivals through sheer tenacity, fleeting pleasures are the velvet ropes that keep the masses milling in mediocrity. Andrew Tate didn't ascend from the shadows of struggle to command a life of luxury jets and unbreakable ventures by indulging whims. He weaponized discipline, forging habits that extinguished excuses like flames devouring dry tinder. Right now, grip that truth. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. The silent force multiplier that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary empires. Professionally, this embrace starts with a brutal trade-off calculus. Audit your day like a strategist maps enemy lines. That extra hour on Netflix or the mid-afternoon snack run, they're not harmless breaks, they're betrayals of your potential, siphoning energy from the high-impact pursuits that build legacies. Instead, lock in the grind awake at dawn for that unskippable workout. Block your calendar for deep work sprints where creativity and output explode unchecked. And treat rest as a tactical recharge, not an endless vacation. Data from peak performers in tech and finance underscores this. Disciplined routines boost decision-making speed by 20% and sustain output through marathons of momentum. Hook 2. The instant you trade pleasure for purpose, a cascade ignites, dopamine from quick wins fades, replaced by the profound rush of progress, stacking like bricks in a fortress. I've traded late, night parties for late, night planning sessions, watching businesses bloom while others wilted. Discipline was my weapon, and it never dulled. Deepen the weapon by targeting habit formation with surgical precision. Habits aren't fluffy resolutions, they're automated armaments installed through repetition until they fire without thought. Start small but scale ruthlessly. Commit to one non-negotiable daily drill, whether it's cold outreach for networking empires or dissecting industry reports for insider edges, and chain it to your routine until it's unbreakable. In elite professional networks, from hedge fund titans to serial entrepreneurs, this iron will manifest as systems over spontaneity, morning rituals that prime the mind, evening reviews that refine the edge, and zero tolerance for slippage. Hook 3. When excuses go extinct, locked out by habits forged in fire, your trajectory skyrockets. Barriers that once loomed like mountains erode under the steady assault of disciplined action. Tate's regimen, a blueprint of unyielding structure that propelled him through kickboxing crowns to financial fortresses, proving the top 1% don't wish for wins, they will them into existence. Mirror it, identify a weakness today, procrastination on key tasks, perhaps, and deploy discipline as the counterstrike, repeating until the habit hardens like diamond. Elevate this further by viewing discipline as a competitive moat, wide and deep, deterring the undisciplined from even approaching your domain. In boardrooms buzzing with half measures or gyms filled with fleeting enthusiasts, your relentless grind stands out as the alpha signal, attracting opportunities that gravitate to the prepared. Hook 4 iron will isn't solitary suffering. It's the alchemist's fire, transmuting sweat into sovereignty, where empires rise not on luck's lottery, but on the grind's guarantee. I've wielded it to outpace doubters, turning potential into palaces while they chased shadows. Arm yourself now, embrace the trade, lock the habits, and watch as discipline dismantles doubt, propelling you to pinnacles where wishes are for the weak and warriors reign supreme. Hear the clock ticking, not as a countdown to defeat, but as the heartbeat of opportunity pounding in your chest, urging you to leap from ignition to inferno. Here's your first hook. Those 7 minutes we invested sparked the fire in your core. But now the real blaze demands you charge forward with unbridled momentum, because hesitation isn't a pause. It's a surrender, and victory never lingers for the timid or the tardy. In the professional arena of relentless pursuit, where deals vanish in the blink of hesitation and markets reward the swift, acting now isn't advice. It's the unbreakable law separating conquerors from the complacent. Andrew Tate didn't wait for the world to align before building his unbreakable empire. He seized the spark of insight and fanned it into a wildfire of action, outpacing obstacles while others deliberated in doubt. Grip that truth, the fire is lit. Extinguish excuses, harness the heat, and propel yourself into the fray where boldness begets breakthroughs. Professionally, this charge begins with an immediate audit of inertia. Scan your immediate horizon for that one bold move you've been orbiting, launching the pitch deck, hitting the gym for that transformative session, or cold, calling the connection that could redefine your trajectory. No more tomorrow. Alibus, deploy the momentum now, treating every second as a tactical advantage in the war for supremacy. Elite performers in business and beyond operate on this principle. Psychology confirms that the action bias in high-stakes environments boosts outcomes by 30%, as initial steps compound into cascades of progress. Hook 2. The instant you shatter the paralysis of analysis, adrenaline surges like rocket fuel, transforming a flicker of intent into a full throttle ascent that leaves excuses smoldering in the dust. I've charged from the ring's roar to the boardroom's brink, acting on sparks that others dismissed, watching empires erect themselves while I moved without mercy. Your spark, it's alive, fan it by taking the first step today, no matter how raw, and feel the momentum build like a snowball into an avalanche. Amplify this by layering in accountability as your accelerator. Announce your charge publicly if it sharpens the edge. Post the goal on your network, enlist an ally to track the thrust, or journal the daily dashes that defy delay. In professional networks of titans, from venture capitalists to visionary leaders, this no excuses ethos manifests as velocity over perfection. Ship the prototype, negotiate the terms, execute the strategy before the window warps. Weakness whispers, wait for the perfect moment, but boldness bellows, create it now. Hook 3 momentum isn't linear, it's exponential. Each action begets the next, forging a chain reaction where hesitation's half, life decays to zero, and your path clears like fog before a freight train. Tate's playbook. Immediate strikes against complacency, turning fleeting ideas into fortified realities that mock the matrix. Mirror and identify your next move right here. Write it down, commit the resources, and launch without looking back. The bold don't rehearse regrets, they reap rewards. Sustain the surge by reframing resistance as rocket boosters. When fatigue or fear flanks you, affirm the charge. This is my momentum, I own the throttle. Throttle. Professionally, it's the edge that sustains through sprints and marathons alike, where the top 1% outrun the pack not by speed alone, but by refusing to break. Hook 4 victory waits for no one but the bold, because the universe conspires with those in motion. Opportunities magnetize to the charging warrior. Alliances form in the wake of your advance, and barriers buckle under the weight of unwavering will. I've charged through storms that scattered souls, emerging with spoils that silence skeptics. Arm your fire now, charge forward. Excuses exiled, momentum your masterstroke, the bold claim the crown, and it's yours for the taking. We're winding down, but the fire's just igniting. Step forward, affirm your unbreakable core. You're not fragile, you're forged in fire. Every setback, fuel. Every failure, a lesson from the gods. Hook 4, the top 1% don't whine, they win. I stared down prison walls and came out stronger. Your battles are nothing compared to that resolve. Lock it in. My mind is fixed. My path is clear. Victory is inevitable. There it is. Your mind fixed in 7 minutes flat. Now go dominate. The world bends to the strong. What are you waiting for? Get after it.